Howdy, everyone. Runt9 here, and welcome back to Runt's Fireside Chat, where we just kind of say what comes to mind for about 30 minutes, have a little bit of a discussion directly to the camera, and you can kind of just sit back and listen and gain a little bit more insight to the person behind the streamer. And, it hasn't necessarily been like a super eventful week since last week. And, it's kind of refreshing. What we kind of figured out when we were doing this weekly on YouTube is we don't necessarily need to do a fireside chat every single week. Usually just, do it if there's something interesting to kind of talk about. But, there's a couple things as far as like figuring out what we want to do with the channel. Um, Obviously, like Loop Hero has come out in the last week, and so that's fun to talk about. And, um, I was trying to think if Emmy and I had done anything that warranted discussion as far as like, hey, this is cool to talk about on stream, but can't think of anything off the top of my head. But yeah, I think that the main thing that I want to chat about today is just various channel update stuff. So first off, this upcoming Saturday, which I believe this video is coming out Thursday of this week. It is currently Monday. So, yeah, this week on Saturday, we are going to be doing an 8-hour celebration stream for about 1 year of being a content creator. I'm very excited about that. We're gonna be just doing kind of like a greatest hits kind of thing of hate that of basically the best games that we played over the past year. With some notable exceptions. Things like, I don't really want to just jump in and do like another Crusader Kings 3 speed run, but we'll be playing things like Monster Train and Nova Drift and these games that, really uh, were landmarks of the type of stream that we want to be here, what we've cultivated over the past year. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Just in general, it's crazy to look back and see that, we're at a year of the pandemic, but also, it was middle end of February last year when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start streaming. And I just did. I mean, that's what you do, is you just start. The very first couple things I recorded, I did not have a good microphone setup. Lighting was awful. Once it got dark outside, you couldn't really see me. The LED lamp I had was on a weird frequency, and so my camera would flicker. There were all sorts of stuff. And now, still don't necessarily have, like a perfect setup or anything. One of the things we'll talk about is green screen type stuff, but it's been a long year for everyone. But I feel very fortunate to have been able to really dig into this hobby, and now we're sitting here. I've been a Twitch affiliate since what was it, June of last year, and had a have a few people in the community who've been here pretty much the whole time, been huge supporters of the stream, and sorry guys, I think it may be allergies actually. Um, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to celebrating that, and looking forward to another year of doing this. I know that YouTube kind of got sidelined for a little bit there, but other than thumbnails, I'm enjoying pushing content from Twitch to YouTube. I feel like it works fairly well. Um, it's nice to not have to record things separately, but still feel good about putting out a video a day. Um, it is still only one video a day. There's no editing done or anything. It's just like, here's live, stream footage. But I'm happy to have that back, and but we're getting back into a happy routine. And one of the things that part of the new schedule was going back to having Sunday streams. So we basically killed Sunday streams like right at the start of football season and added them back right after football season, which I didn't do on purpose. because it's not as if I was going to be that invested in American football this season, but it is kind of funny how that worked out in that essentially the lack of streaming on Sundays fell pretty much right over American football season. Now that we've gone back to it, and namely Sundays are thus far co-op day with Emmy, our Sunday streams have been fantastic. The analytics on it are good, and Emmy and I have been having a great time. And just in general, like I'm happy to have those back, and I like streaming on Sunday more than I like streaming on Saturday. Saturday definitely works well for like that one special stream per month kind of thing. We did the top 10 games of 2020 last month. We're doing our special Fireside Chat equals Runt yawning. I think that my nose has stopped up a little bit, and so I'm not breathing properly, and so my brain is like, hey, we need more oxygen. How about you yawn? I should probably go grab some allergy medicine after this. We'll take a short break after Fireside Chat, but that doesn't affect anything for YouTube at least. And so, yeah, Sunday streams are back, and I would definitely say they're here to stay. That 2 to 5 p.m. slot's been working pretty well. Yesterday was a great example of just what a great day can look like. Emmy and I needed groceries, and Saturday we were just like, all right, let's get an Instacart order together, and let's figure out what our replacements are. Oh, this grocery store doesn't have this and this, and I kind of just looked at her and was like, we should just go shopping. Like, I don't remember the last time that we got an Instacart order where something didn't go wrong. It's never been like painfully wrong, like completely wrong orders or out of every item, but it's always just been a little bit of like, if we were doing the shopping, we could have, taken care of this. And I appreciate the convenience of grocery delivery and have been paying for the Instacart service for quite some time now for free delivery. Which it's not free because you're paying them a yearly subscription, but pros and cons. And she was interested in, like, you know what? Yeah, let's just go to the grocery store, get what we want to get. We were talking about cooking a good dinner, trying something experimental, which not like super experimental because it's kind of pretty easy to just basically a broccoli mac and cheese bake, which turned out incredible, by the way. But we were just like, you know what? Sure, let's go to the grocery store. We woke up early enough on Sunday morning to get there before church lets out. Those of you who don't live in the southern half of the U.S., at noon is when church is over, and that's when everyone is out and about going to the grocery store, grabbing food. So if you ever want to do anything and you're in like Texas or Alabama or Mississippi or something, and it's a Sunday, do it before noon. Or like after 2 once things have kind of settled down. It's like literally everyone it's an unspoken rule. You just know that like at noon, things are going to get crazy on Sundays. And so we got our groceries, and Texas still has the archaic law of you cannot buy alcohol between midnight and noon on Sundays. And we got to the checkout line at 11:57. So we had to finish checking out all of our food stuff and then stand over to the side for 3 minutes so they could legally scan our beer. Because, that's just what you do. It's absolutely unbelievable to me that we still have something like that in today's age. Like, I know that it was created for religious reasons, and you guys know that I will never crap on anyone's political or religious views on this channel. That's not what we do here. But I also understand that at this point in modern day, the ease of access to things and the slight shift to being a little bit less of an overall religious populace, I think that law doesn't have the same benefits that it used to, is what I would say. I mean, fortunately, this has mostly gone away, but Texas for a very long time had um, city and county level control over alcohol as well. So you could be living in a city where you could not buy liquor or could not buy liquor in that city or in that county, but you could drive 5 minutes away to get it and bring it home. Which, really what that encouraged was, I'm going to go get drunk at a bar over there and then drive home. And once cities and counties started removing those laws, they were called dry counties. Essentially, it was you live in a dry county, you drive to a wet county to get your liquor. Once they realized that certain cities had started getting rid of those laws and their DWIs went down, then they were like, oh, okay, so if we want less people to drive drunk, maybe we should stop encouraging them to drive like, 20, 30 minutes away to get hammered and then drive home. So it's good that that's kind of gone. I'm looking forward to seeing if at some point in the future, obviously not necessarily with our current Texas government setup, but hopefully sometime in the near future, trying to purchase beer at 11:57 a.m. on a Sunday isn't technically illegal. Yeah, that was fun. Anyway, so we got home, unloaded groceries. I had breakfast, second cup of coffee, all that. Then we streamed. We hopped on, started on Pokemon Platinum, had a fantastic stream. Like I said, the analytics on the Sunday streams have been going quite well. We had a good number of people here. There's some people that have followed from previous Pokemon streams, and last week, unfortunately, Emmy wasn't feeling too great, and so we weren't able to do a Pokemon stream, and I was glad to see a couple people come back that had followed because of that, and we had a good time. We got through Rourke, and it was just a really great time. Emmy and I, yeah. Jen did follow yesterday, which was cool. Yeah, so just overall a good day. And then afterwards, just kind of hung out, played some Loop Hero. I tried out a new pecan pie cider. First drink in probably a couple of months. Every so often I'll just like stop drinking for a bit. Because there's like multiple reasons. Like obviously, like the more you drink, the more of an alcohol tolerance you build up. I much prefer being able to get a little bit off of just a single drink, and that doesn't happen if you're drinking a little bit more regularly. But also, I just in general don't necessarily like the way it feels after a while. Definitely prefer to just kind of give myself a break for a little bit. It's obviously healthier in the long run. I mean, it's healthier in the long run to not drink at all, but that's a different note. But yeah, and then we just hung out for a little bit and relaxed, and then we cooked a nice dinner together, and then we watched the last 3 episodes of WandaVision. Things have obviously there's just been a lot going on the past few weeks, so we got a little bit behind. I only drink like once a month and I get hammered. Yeah, so you kind of collect all of your month's worth of drinks into a single night. Yeah, I have been drunk a couple times in my life at this point, and definitely it's a feeling that I never want to feel again. It's just miserable while you're drunk. You're miserable the next day, and I've had it even at times where it's multiple days afterwards, and it's just like a drink or two here and there just for a taste. I mean, pretty much all the stuff I drink, I actually just really like the taste of it. Like the pecan pie cider I had last night, it was basically just your basic apple cider, but it had just a little bit of a smoother, richer finish. Anyways, we're not here to talk about alcohol on stream. This is a family-friendly show. Alcohol is bad. Don't drink, kids. Yeah, especially like if you're getting hammered alone. That's rough. Because I mean, the biggest thing is like you want people there to take care of you in case something happens. But yeah, so we finished up dinner, watched some WandaVision, went to bed, and so like yesterday, for both of us, we just kind of felt like this was just a normal adult day. This is what our weekends are going to look like for hopefully, I mean, basically, hopefully the rest of our lives. Maybe slightly different, but I um I definitely just felt really good about everything yesterday, and the way the stream just kind of fit into that. It didn't feel like it was some external thing or something I kind of forced into the day. No, like the stream was just naturally a part of the flow of a very good day for us. And so, I appreciated that and was very happy that we got to have that kind of day. Um, and so, again, just reiterates that like we're gonna keep the we're gonna keep the Sunday streams going forward, and I really wish that there was a way to mix up the weeknight streams. There's just really not, unfortunately, because for the weeknight streams, obviously I work 40 hours a week, sometimes more, sometimes a little less, and the previous stream time of 5 p.m. essentially meant that I needed to bow out of things at work around 4 to 4:30, which is fine if you're willing to wake up and start working at like 7:30 in the morning. But also you have to worry about what happens if there's like meetings that run long, or you're in the middle of something and it's a lot harder to stop. Um, without a little more buffer there. Like, yeah, there's some days now that I'll stop a little early, around that 4:30 time. But I've always felt good about having that, 5 to 5:30 window. Sometimes that just ends up being the best time to get stuff done. And I mean, it ended up being the same thing today. I cracked through a wall of something that I couldn't figure out. Got it done at like 5:15, and it's like, all right, well, cool. Looks like I can go start messing with camera settings, get ready to stream. So the 6 o'clock start time has been working great. The problem really ends up being that for European viewers, which we tend to get a lot of European viewers on this show, um, it's obviously just ridiculously late at that point. And finishing at 8 p.m. is 2 a.m. GMT. So it makes it very difficult for anyone other than Americans to watch the stream. And I also, 8 o'clock is not late, but I really like having as much time in the evenings to relax and kind of do my own thing as possible. And, one thing I've thought about, and I know I can't make it work because of the nature of how my job the nature of my job does not allow it to work, but I've wanted to try to figure out afternoon streams during the week, because I have a flexible job where it's like if there aren't any meetings, like no one would be upset if I just took 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the day, did some streaming, and then just came back and did my work until like 8 or 9 p.m. We have people at my job that they'll usually bow out after the morning meetings, go, take care of family, kids, stuff around the house while there's still daylight. And then, I mean, I'll see stuff come in at like midnight, 1 a.m. Eastern. And they're, they put the kids to bed and they're like, all right, it's peaceful and quiet in here. I can actually focus on and get some work done. So like, that's an option, but not really an option, because I don't want to like break in the middle of the day and then go back to work, because I feel like it would just interrupt my flow too much. So as it is right now, 6 to 8 is working, and definitely 2 hour streams during the week is better than the 3 hour streams. We weren't making it to 3 hours most of the time, past few months anyways. And so it definitely just fit to kind of drop it down to the 2 hours. And it means that, I can be a little bit more into the content, knowing that, I don't think of any of the 2 hour streams we've done yet that I've clock watched. And there were definitely times with the 3 hour streams where sometimes I would be looking down at the clock, 2 hours, a little over 2 hours in, being like, I don't know that I got another hour in me tonight, man. And yeah, I'm just really happy with the way things are set up right now, and just in general, things are going fairly well overall. You know, our subscriber number has dipped down a little bit as far as we, for one reason or another, some people that were previous subscribers haven't been able to resub, or some of my friends haven't, remember to refresh their Twitch Prime and stuff like that. But, um, it's more of, at some point, I would like to be able to add like more emotes and stuff, and like get the channel more personalized and get it feeling more like a community of we're here as a part of the community, and it's not just, I'm not just another random Twitch streamer that people happen to like. COVID tough, yeah, absolutely. Um I definitely understand that for sure. But if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Twitch Prime, and you can just, resub. uh so that's been, basically just kind of looking back a little bit and on these past few weeks since we got back into the swing of things in the new house. And I would say business as usual. Things are going well, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Um, One change that we are probably going to make is, camera background. I've obviously been doing the green screen thing for a bit now, and it's gotten to the point where I want to not be a floating head anymore. And the problem is, what is currently behind the green screen is a blank white wall, which is obviously not something that anyone cares to actually look at. I would argue that a floating head is better than a blank white wall. What we're going to try today is I'm going to be back in my box. It's going to be more square than this. This is a pretty rectangular setup, but I'm going back in my box, and we're basically the same background that you see here, that I like overlaid my logo in the chat and all the stuff up there on top of. We're just going to have that background behind the camera. I certainly pop off of it, so you can certainly still easily see me. But the ideal scenario would be to find some way, somehow, of, and like, it feels weird to say this, but get a streamer room where I've got, camera is pointed behind me at stuff that fills out a reasonable background. I'm not necessarily going to go with the RGB mood lighting stuff, but get some posters and some trinkets or whatever, just some stuff that, like, if you come into the stream and you see what's behind me, you know what I'm about, you know who I am, you know what I'm interested in, and maybe you'll just immediately connect with me and say like, oh cool, you've got that kind of poster, I love that thing. At this point, I'd love to get a WandaVision poster. For one, I'm sure that the various artwork for those posters would just be incredible. The Wanda slash Scarlet Witch has been my favorite Marvel character since she first came around the MCU. I'm not a comic person, but I have enjoyed the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and for a very long time, I had a Scarlet Witch background on my computer, just because, like, it's not necessarily that the character herself is just incredible, although I think the 9 episodes of WandaVision certainly built up Wanda in ways that I really did like her story, and that she definitely has more of a neutral feel about her than your typical good or evil. Which, granted, Marvel does generally do fairly well, that you can usually find some sort of empathy for the villains, and sometimes you can get a little upset at the good guys. Captain America Civil War is a great example of that. But I really like that at the end of the day, yes, Wanda will go out of her way to help people if it also helps her. Very rarely does she do something that doesn't positively impact herself. And sometimes that ends up being to the detriment of other people. But for me, the biggest thing is the way that they do her powers is just absolutely incredible. The CGI on her powers has been so fun to watch over these past few years, and no spoilers on the last 3 episodes or on any of WandaVision, but just in general, I really enjoy her powers, and so the complete tangent there, and that's kind of what Fireside Chats have turned into. But yeah, just stuff like that. Try to organize things in such a way where I can turn my desk around. Because right now, because I needed the green screen setup, my desk is facing out into the room. And so the camera is facing directly at the wall behind me where the green screen is. I'll end up turning it around and like setting up some stuff back there, behind where we are right now. And, just try to get some cool stuff going. Because it seems like, based on some of the reading I've done online, some polls, and just seeing some stuff in other people's chats, that people don't really care for green screens as much anymore. And especially for us, I brought this up in Discord. We run into this all the time where we'll be playing a game, and if I put myself on the bottom of the screen where I'm anchored and I'm not a floating body, then we're good. But what happens if I'm covering up something on the bottom of the screen, no matter where I put myself? Well, okay, I guess I need to find somewhere elsewhere that doesn't look too horrible, where I'm just like cut off at the body. We didn't have that problem before when we're just open room behind me, and there was like the board games were behind me. We had a couch and everything. Obviously, since I moved to having a designated streaming room, I haven't necessarily had that option. But we're going to get back to that, I feel like. And so for the time being, we're going to just throw a background behind me and put me back in the box so we can kind of move around as we need to. Mostly so I can more easily like get to the sides of the screen. I definitely have come to the realization that, and it makes logical sense, if you're looking from like a user experience, user interface design, your average Westerner is going to read and observe things top left to bottom right. It's how we read, it's how we observe images, unless there are focal points that draw your eyes in. Unless I'm playing something where, wearing a black shirt and like, my face really stands out, then I can kind of get lost in the image. And so they'll just start, kind of glancing through the game. There's never really anything exciting going on because I like to keep the video very clean. I don't want to overload it with, all these banners and advertisements and all that. Which way? Because I read manga, so that doesn't really apply to me. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, a lot of people that read stuff that's written in various Eastern languages will end up reading things right to left, sometimes bottom to top. But in general, North America especially, top left to bottom right, scanning, and eyes are drawn into focal points. And so getting my camera back on the left side of the screen in general is going to be good just from a, interface design perspective. And so looking forward to, just continuing to find ways that we can improve things. I've had a lot of fun trying out some new games and getting things built back up. We're keeping the variety strong here, which is something that, it's a commitment to you guys that after a little bit of a period of time there, we were kind of just playing Path of Exile, and things were a little dull because I didn't have much commentary to go on. I was just like, I'm sitting here right-clicking and left-clicking and pressing Q. And that's about it. Like, that's my strategy right now. That's pretty much hopefully never going to happen again, in the sense that, like, I really don't want us to just get stuck on one game for a very long time. And I think pushing stuff to YouTube helps with that as well, because I don't want to just push the same game every single day to YouTube, because it's going to get stale over there as well. So anyways, it looks like we're around that 30-minute mark, so now's probably a good time to wrap this up. We got into some good topics today. I will actually have a hard time picking out the 3 things that I like putting in the YouTube title. But I appreciate you all being here once again. Happy to have been doing this for a year. Thank you to all of my longtime supporters for being here all along, and just super excited to keep doing this long term. I love this hobby, and I know that I've been talking about, is this really something I want to keep doing long term? And just sometimes we have those streams and it just reinvigorates me, and I'm like, nah, this is fun. And I love it. So appreciate you all being here. You guys over on YouTube as well. Thank you all so much for the support. Got 2 videos over 1,000 views now, and it's just crazy to see that. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to get involved with these fireside chats in the future, feel free to drop by the stream over on twitch.tv/Runt9Plays, where we do these live now. And look forward to seeing you there. But until next time, I'm Runt9. I'll see you later.